All right, guys, what's going on, man? It's your boy, Hot Capper 2000. You can also call me 2K for short. Either way, man, it's all good. All right, so we can get into this wrap up for week 2, man. We had a real nice week, man. Come on, man. You know we did our thing with the record of 6-3, and that is 67% for the week, which is very good. If you hit anything over 52%, man, that means you're in profit. We're hitting 67% for week 2, so we're definitely in profit. And our overall record is 13-5, which gives us a 72% win rate. And overall, if you are a dime better with me from the very beginning, and you started with me from the very beginning, you would already be at plus 7,500 on a year. Once again, if you started with me at the beginning of the season, you would already be in profit at plus 7,500 for the season. That's a nice bit of cake right there. And even if you aren't a dime better, if you're betting 500, if you're betting 200, 100, whatever, no matter what you're betting with me, you're in profit right now. So, you know, we got to give ourselves, man, a pat on the back, man, round of applause. Yes, sir. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the games that we end up hitting and the games that we end up losing, and just kind of just recap the week, man, and just kind of tell you what I was looking at, what I was seeing. All right. And before I even get into that, man, you know, if you want these hot plays, man, all you got to do is hit my email, man. You know, it's right on the screen. It's hotcapper2000@gmail.com. Once again, it's hotcapper2000@gmail.com, man. Hit my email up. I'll get you signed up for the plays, man. You know, those are my premium plays. I normally do give one free play a week. I try to do it on this channel right here, or I sometimes do it redundantly. So I put it on my channel here, and then I also put it on my Twitter feed. So you'll be able to get that free play. And I normally like to give out the free play on Wednesday. So be looking out for it on Wednesday. And for some reason, if I can't get it out on Wednesday, I will get it out on Thursday. All right. So that's how I'm going to do that. All right. So we started out week 2 losing, came out to shoot a loser because I went with Illinois plus the 4, thinking that they were going to be able to keep it close, and it just did not happen. Kansas came out dominating from the very beginning. Illinois did try to make it a game towards the end, even maybe come up with a miracle cover, but it was not to be. So Kansas went ahead and ended up winning that game, and Illinois did not cover. Kind of put a bad taste in my mouth going into Saturday, but hey, man, it's just one game, man. We don't get down on ourselves, man. We keep it moving. We got to stay positive, man. You don't get down on yourself over one game. You don't get down on yourself over 2 or 3 losses, man. Hey, you got to always keep firing, man, because sometimes you're going to run into bad stretches. I try to avoid them, but hey, even I run into them sometimes, man. But I normally end up fighting my way out of it. All right, so once we started Saturday, one of the winners that we came out with was Notre Dame minus the 7, man. I had a good feeling that Notre Dame was going to cover against NC State, man, and they did. Too much firepower for NC State, man. The NC State just didn't have enough. All right, Boise State, we covered that game against UCF. Boise State lost their first game, and by all the metrics that I was looking at, Boise State was due for a bounce back, and they did. They covered the plus 3.5, but they did not win the game. I actually thought they were going to win the game, and UCF ended up kicking a field goal late to take the straight up win, but we still covered, man. So, yo, all we're worried about is covering the game, and we did that. All right, next. We had Iowa versus Iowa State. We had Iowa minus the 4. Iowa pretty much dominated this game, man. They're too rugged for Iowa State. Normally, Iowa dominates this series because they're just too fundamentally sound. Iowa State is just not efficient enough to hang with a team like Iowa. And Iowa normally gets the better players in that state. You know, that's like an in-state rivalry. So Iowa normally dominates that series, but you know, from year to year, it can be different. But everything I looked at, man, from returning players and whatnot, Iowa had the edge in this matchup, and it proved to be true. All right, so our next game was Arizona plus the 9 against Mississippi State. I really liked Arizona in this spot, man, and you know, Arizona did cover for us. They got down, and Mississippi State tried to give them a knockout blow early, but Arizona was real resilient, man. Very good quarterback. just a resilient team. I like their overall team, man. They're just pretty scrappy. And they stayed in it, hung around until they can actually get it tied up. Then it ended up going to overtime, and then Mississippi State pulled it out. But, of course, we got the cover. So, man, that's all we're worried about. All right, the next was Colorado, Nebraska. We had Colorado minus the 2.5. Colorado, I never at any point thought that they weren't going to cover this game. You know, they had little ups and downs kind of at the beginning of the game. I thought they might have a small hangover from winning that emotional game in game 1. But they bounced back pretty good from the second quarter on and dominated Nebraska. So, you know, they got that cover, man. All right, so UCLA minus the 13.5 against San Diego State. UCLA, too powerful, too skilled, had just too much talent on the field, man. San Diego State, I don't like their quarterback. Their quarterback can run. He can throw a little bit. He's inefficient. He's kind of just winging it, man, when he's throwing the ball. He can run the ball, though, so which makes him dangerous, you know, with his feet. He can extend plays, and he can extend downs and stuff like that, man. He can get you a first down when you shouldn't be getting one. You should be punting. So I forgot the dude's name, but he's pretty decent, man. But even that wasn't enough, man. UCLA got the cover, man. No problem there. All right, so we're going to go with our losses, the losers. I did give us Illinois out the gate because that was on Friday. We had that loss, so I already covered that one. All right, the other loss we had was Auburn minus the 6 against California. Man, Auburn just played an uneven game, man. They could have covered that game, and they should have covered the game. They just didn't put a full game together, man. They have little small stretches of good football, and then they kind of like revert back to like kind of bad football. It was just an uneven performance, and they ended up luckily kind of pulling it out, but they really should have covered that game. That should not have been a loss for us. They should have won that game at least by 10 to 12 points, but hey, they did not cover. They barely won, and we did not get the cover. And the game that was just maddening to me, it gave me a freaking headache. This Tulane game versus Ole Miss. Tulane outplayed Ole Miss the whole game, even with their backup quarterback, because something happened to Pratt, their starting quarterback, and they had the backup quarterback in the whole game, and they still should have covered the game. If Pratt starts the game and finishes the game, Tulane not only covers, they win this game straight up. Ole Miss got so lucky that Pratt was not playing this game. He was a late scratch right before the game started, and they ended up going with the backup. In the backup, he gave a good effort, man. It just wasn't enough. He wasn't able to make enough plays. Their starting quarterback, I think his name is Michael Pratt, if I'm not mistaken. His first name is Michael, but I just say Pratt because I know his last name. He can get you some plays with his feet. He can also make big plays with his arm. He has a really good arm. He has good feet. He can get you first downs when maybe you would be punting otherwise, because he's able to extend plays with his feet. But see, without that threat, Ole Miss was kind of able to pin their ears back and just come after the quarterback. They were able to put the backup quarterback into some bad positions and make him make some mistakes. And that kind of was a turning point in the game. And Ole Miss kind of ran away with it at the end. They ended up winning like 37-20 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But the game was close the whole way. Actually, Tulane was leading most of the game until you got into like the fourth quarter. And then Ole Miss got a few plays, man, and kind of put some separation between the two teams. And that was really all she wrote, man. They just didn't have enough, man, with Pratt being out. That was it for week 2. Like I said, we ended up finishing 6-3. We really shouldn't have ended up, if I didn't do this stupid play with Illinois, we shouldn't have ended up 7-1. We should have ended up 7-1. The Tulane game, you know, that happens, man. Players get hurt, and it kind of messes up the whole trajectory of the game. So I'm not going to even bother with that one too much. But the Illinois game, I should have went with the over, and we would have ended up going 7-1. But that's all right. That's all right. We still ended up 6-3 on the week, man, which is good. 67%. You can't argue with 67%, man. We making money, we in profit. That's all that counts. And like I said, we're 72% overall for the season. And let me also get into 2 games I'm kind of looking towards, and I've been looking at a little bit. going into week 3. I haven't really even capped the games, but I do like to give 1 or 2 games I'm looking at, man, just to kind of give you a little bit of insight of kind of what I'm looking at. So the first game that kind of caught my eye was North Carolina at Minnesota. I like the matchup. And I kind of got a little lean. I'm not going to tell you who I'm leaning, but yeah, I kind of like that game. That's the game that kind of caught my eye. Another game that caught my eye was Missouri versus Kansas State. I think, if I'm not mistaken, both teams are undefeated. I have to go back and look at it, but I think both teams are undefeated. So that should be a good matchup. I got my eye on that, but I got to do some more handicapping, man. I got to do some more capping on that game. All right, guys, so that's it for week 2, and I will be posting my free play on Wednesday, so be looking out for that. I'm going to post it on here on my channel, and I'm also posting on Twitter, just in case you don't get a chance to come on here and check this channel out for Wednesday. But like I said, for some reason, if I can't get it out on Wednesday, it will be out on Thursday, so come back and check the channel. All right, man, so that's it. But once again, man, if you do want my premium plays, man, you want access to all these winners, man, hit my email up, man. Once again, it's hotcapper2000@gmail.com, man. I'm going to get you some winners. You've seen the work that I've already put in. I'm getting my guys that are signed up. I got my clients. I'm already filling my clients' pockets with money, man. The guys that bought my plays, go ahead and let me fill yours up as well, man. Go ahead and hit my email up, man, and I'm going to get you squared away. All right, and with that said, man, I'm going to see y'all on the next one. I'm gone.